The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the participants and do not reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
BronxNet. Your voice, your views, your vision.
Next on the Bronx Journal, Patricia Turner, environmental specialist and former health inspector, to explain the process of opening a restaurant, letter grading, and more. Dr. Howard Moskowitz from Montefiore Medical Center to discuss hearing loss. Carlisle DeRizio from the CUNY Service Corps to share information on the program, and Kid the Wiz to delight us with the street dance Light Beat.
This is the Bronx Journal, the television edition of the online multilingual community newspaper. Published by the students and faculty of the Journalism, Communication, and Theater Department at Lehman College. On the internet, on the radio, and on television, the Bronx Journal covers the issues concerning the people of the Bronx.
Hello, and welcome to the Bronx Journal. I'm Chanel Green. Do you ever wonder what that letter B is doing on your favorite restaurant window when you think as a customer that it deserves an A? Letters from A to C are floating all over the Bronx and the rest of the city, and it's best that we all know what each letter represents. Our guests can tell you just how inspectors make those determinations. Joining us is Patricia Smith, an environmental specialist who is also a former restaurant health inspector. Patricia, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, no problem. Thank you for joining us. Since the system has been in effect for a while now, do people fully understand what the letter grades mean?
I think pretty much people are very visual. They see A, they think good. They see B, they think okay. They see C, and they're a little skeptical. So I think it's pretty visual, and I think this is the type of effect that we wanted, that the health department wanted, to give more information to the public so they can, make better choices.
Okay. How many years did you work for the health department?
I was with the health department for about 15 years. I started right straight out of college, and during that time, I got my master's. But I learned so much, and I did so much, and it was just a really great experience there, working there.
What type of training and experience is required to become a health inspector?
Well, initially, you have to have a bachelor's degree and at least 30 science credits in a biological or physical science, such as biology, physics, or chemistry. Or you can have an associate degree with at least 12 science credits, biological or physical, and at least 5 years experience as like a technician or something to that effect.
Okay. Can you explain to us exactly what each grade means?
Well, if you receive an A grade, which is the most preferable grade, that's basically it goes to a point system. That's how the grades are rated. So if you get from 0 to 13 points, you receive an A grade, meaning that you had general, no critical items, and just general items. If you receive a B grade, that means you've rated between 14 points to 27 points, meaning that you had some general items, you had a critical item, but you still passed the inspection. If you receive a C grade, that means that you've amounted more 28 points or more, and of course, if you have 3 consistent C grades or 28 points or more, then you'll be at that point closed down. So pretty much that's what the grading, is broken down into.
How was the health department grading restaurants before the letter started?
Pretty much we had an internal grading system, but it was less visual to the to the public. So we had our own grading system going on. and it's all also with points. But it was mostly on the report and for the knowledge of the restaurant. And also, if you would go on the website prior to the grade system, you were able to find out the points and the grades. So it's something similar but less visual. Now with the grading system, that's more visual. The public can, easily access it by just walking to the restaurant and seeing the grades.
Okay. I know that California started the grading system first. Did New York use them as a model?
I think they did. I think another state has to, but does the grading system. But they definitely use California as a model, and and I think it's something that they really felt strongly about, just giving the public and more information about the restaurants and where they eat in.
I see that some restaurants can go from a letter grade of C and then within a month or so can go to an A. How is that possible?
Well, this is possible for several different reasons. If you receive a C grade and you receive an inspection within a 2-week period after, and you actually do well, you pass the inspection, you get points between 0 to 13. You can actually get a lower points, meaning a better grade, so you can get a B or an A. Also, if you receive a C, these points, when you receive points and these are critical violations, you have to go to an administrative tribunal, which is a court, and each of these points are allotted fines. So if you're able to go to court and prove that this is unfounded, they will throw out that particular point, therefore lowering your grade, lowering your points, therefore giving you a better grade.
Without naming any names, what are some of the worst violations you've seen while doing some inspections?
Wow, I've seen a lot. I mean, throughout the years, I would say I did a particular restaurant in Manhattan, I think by the Port Authority area, and this restaurant, it was just dimly lit in the food prep area, and when I took my flashlight out, it was just mice droppings everywhere, like on the prep table. And at that point, they had just taken some, chicken out of the fryer and was like chopping it up. And I'm like, they had no clue that it was just infested with like droppings all over, the ground. It just, needless to say, that restaurant had to be closed like immediately. We did a whole protocol called the office, but it had to be closed immediately, and they had to, before they would be able to reopen, they had to do a massive cleanup.
What are some of the most common health code violations that you'll see in a restaurant?
I would say the most common is, food out of temperature. It's sometimes, to the public, they don't really know things like, for example, when they walk into a restaurant, like maybe fried chicken is out and it's been out for, more than